and continue. This records automatically, eh?
Yeah.
Pump a bit of background music. I'll turn the volume down a bit. All right, it's 3:30. All right, welcome everybody to this Microsoft T4L webinar this afternoon, all about dynamic digital documents. So we're between myself, hopefully Adam will be joining us back in soon. He's just dropped off the call briefly, and Jeff will be taking you through a number of Microsoft options today to enhance your lessons and your management in the classroom. So my name's Jared Burke. I'm a STEM.T4L leader. I am been teaching for about 10 years and primary trained teacher. And I'm also joined by Jeff. If you want to jump on and give us a hello, Jeff.
I will, Jared, and g'day and welcome to the this afternoon's Dynamic Digital Docs. Hopefully you'll learn plenty of things today. It is brief, so pay attention, and remember, we'll talk to this later, you will be able to record, rewind as you go if you see fit, or we'll have a recording that you can access later on. But I'll hand back to Jared and I think keep moving.
Nice. So there's our contact details if you want to reach out to us today. No dramas at all. And any questions you have about all things Microsoft, we'll do our very, very best to help you out. First, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which we meet today. We acknowledge the role of elders past and present and future, and the importance of observing cultures, customs and traditions of Aboriginal Australia. We also have a really nice acknowledgement of country in video format.
We acknowledge the first Australians as the traditional custodians of the continent, whose culture is the oldest living culture in human history. We pay our respects to elders, past, present and emerging, and we respect their cultural heritage, beliefs and relationship with the land. We extend our respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. They share the memories, traditions and hopes of the traditional ancestors with the new generations today and in the future. We would also like to thank them for looking after this land for thousands of years.
Let's do a menu. There we go. So a little bit of housekeeping. Make sure if you like to ask us any questions at all today, please feel free. Just click on the little box there for the Q&A chat and fire your questions away, and one of us will get back to you as soon as possible. Don't forget there is a 30-second delay or so between us speaking and what you hear. So one of the good things about this live event is you can pause and rewind at any stage during this. And also at the end of this, this session is automatically recorded, and the link that you use to jump in here is the same link that will activate your recording to watch it back later. So we may, well, you can try and keep up as we talk, but feel free to go back and watch the video if we go a little bit too quick. So this is kind of a bit of the breakdown of our agenda today. We we've had our introduction, our acknowledgement of country, and we're going to be taking you through 3 resources today. So just as a bit of a disclaimer, this is an introductory presentation today on using Microsoft OneDrive, Microsoft Word, and Microsoft Sway. And we're going to show you some of the cool features within each of these 3 platforms that will help you really build some dynamic documents as well as your file storage. And then at the end, a couple more minutes to show you a few resources. So let's jump into a live demonstration. I'm going to throw it over to Mr. Jeffrey Childs, who's going to take you through some of the ins and outs of using your OneDrive. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jared. And let me just kick off and also say that I'm going to share my screen. And I love doing this. Sharing always works every time, first time round. And hopefully, of course, it's going to work for us now. So let's come in and pretend, I'm a new teacher and I'm just not sure about this whole Microsoft Word, and I've heard about Office 365 and it's fantastic. But how does it all work? How am I going to get there? Well, let's go and actually kick in and start looking at what it is to do our Microsoft. I'm going to open up Edge because it's a good browser. Microsoft use some of the great tools that are out there, and Edge is one of those ones that allows us to do a bunch of things within the ecosystem of Microsoft. All right, so we're going to head to the staff portal, staff.dt.nsw.edu.au. And this is, I guess, the way that we want to encourage people to get into Office 365. I know there are other ways. You can go to portal.office.com if you like. However, what we want to do is just make sure that, sorry, is that coming through? Can you see that, Jared? Is that all there?
I can see, I only see Google at the moment. Here
it's a bit of a delay, sorry.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a delay. I'm coming in from Orange, so there is a long distance sort of thing that they've got to handle. They're going to pass one note to the next person at the local Bathurst Exchange, then go on to Lithgow. No, it's not that bad. However, I will have hopefully a steady stream of internet and bandwidth. Okay, so look, I've come in here and we're going to head to Office 365. If you don't have this set up on your portal, remember it sits here in Learning Tools. Once you jump into Learning Tools, all right, these are all different learning tools. There's the STEM T4L Learning Library if you want to add that. You can also have the Google tools that are available over here, or you can also have the Microsoft tools. And I'm going to click on that now, and you'll see here as I show my details. Now, mine is already sitting in the Essentials list. You might also want to add this to your Essentials list. This means that when you come to your home page, what you'll see is Office 365 sitting up here. Okay, so we're going to launch into that, and that'll start us with the Office 365, I guess, dashboard or desktop. And I must admit, we're just trying to get Adam Watson still in. It may mean that we one of us logs out, logs back in as technology goes, but just
while you're talking,
he's in the back.
Jeff, I'm just going to drop off the call and come back in under a different login to see whether we can make room for Adam.
No worries, I'll press on. So guys, what we do now is we're at the Office 365 homepage, and you can see this here up the top here. We'll have our 9 little dots. All right, some people call it a waffle, a hamburger. I'm not really sure. You can come up with your own name. However, here are all our different apps. Okay, this is Office 365, and look, this is the list of recent apps that I have been using. Okay. However, what I'm going to actually have a look is the OneDrive. All right, so I'm going to click into OneDrive, and this will take us into my files. All right. At the moment, what am I saying? The actual, sorry, the browser that I'm using has got the teacher account logged in, all right? And so there are no files that I've got listed here. However, let's get going. Let's actually create some files and start to add some certain things, all right? Now, what I am a bit perplexed is my files are not showing here the ones that I want, even though I'm logged in. This does occur once in a while. I'm going to minimize this and bring in Google Chrome only because I was using this earlier this morning and it will have everything I need. So let's just quickly forward that. Here's one I've prepared earlier. Let's try that again. So we've come in and into OneDrive. Now within OneDrive, it's a similar structure to Google. If you've had some experience with Google before, then you would know that you have all your files down the side, and Google Drive has the similar button to, you know, new and adding documents from there. However, let's just get to think about how we use this for document organization and folder organization. This is much like your My Documents that sits in the folder, the Explorer, okay? What you'll see here is I've just dragged in my documents, my folder here that has a whole range of different things, and you'll have your documents, you'll have downloads, music, a whole bunch of things. What you can see here, this is the online version, and so all of the different files that I have are sitting up on the web. And the way we can organize this is that you can be uploading any type of file you like within Microsoft. You've got pretty much unlimited access for Microsoft files, and so go to your heart's content with video, a whole range of other things, you know, all the Microsoft documents, pretty much unlimited with our department account. But what we want to concentrate now is actually creating our file structure and knowing where things are. So if I come up to here, I'm going to click on new. I'm going to just add a new folder. The new folder is as much as whatever you'd like. I'm going to call it resources for STEM. Okay, we are part of STEM T4L, as you might have saw just before. But if I click create, this will now add a simple folder to my list of files here, and I'll just go down here, and there's my resources for STEM. Okay, I can now jump in, and you can see the first image saying drag your files in here. So if I was to do that, I would go back to my Explorer here, and I want to drag in a photo. All right, what I will do, I'm going to pull this down here and drag in a photo of myself when I was young. Okay, and in goes that image. There we go, uploaded and waiting. All right, I can also drag in any type of Word document, as you can see. And so let me just try and dig out a Word document that actually, how about we go to something STEM-wise, and then we can find plenty of Word documents there. So here is our simple email that you can drop in, okay, Google Wi-Fi. And in it goes. And what we are slowly doing is we are uploading our resources. And so you can upload as many resources as you like on your personal account. It'll go into that OneDrive folder and it will always be available. The best thing is that if it's a Word document, it will be available for you to view at any stage and actually edit. And so I can click in and have a look at that Word document. It looks as though Adam's back, and which is fantastic to see, right? So I'm going to keep going, and what we've got is that we've got our Wi-Fi, Google Wi-Fi as a document that I can now start editing. This has come from my device sitting on my computer, and now we've uploaded into OneDrive. All right. I can also do a couple of things within OneDrive. I can also share things out to other people so that others can access this file. And this is great for collaboration. So if I click on share, all right, that bouncing out arrow, and you can enter an email address and start sharing that file. And it doesn't have to be a Word document. It can be pretty much any file you have in OneDrive. By clicking on the anyone with a link button, you can refine or set the permissions to suit who has access to what. So it can be just specific people. And this is a great way to really lock down your files. You can allow people to view. All right, at this stage, it's just view, or I can allow editing. All right, and they can have a look at the file and then add their own contribution. Okay, you can do some other things like blocking download, etc., etc. All right, I'm going to come back out of that. Other things you can do is that someone might share a file with you. Well, you can also check here in the shared file section. And here is where you'll see all of the shared files that will pop up that has been shared with me. Okay. Part of the school's digital strategy is the digital classroom offices, all right? And this is a folder that has been shared with a co-colleague. And so what I can also do is I can click in and have a look at that by just clicking on this location. But another thing I can do is that if I want to click on that and now either share it with other people, or I can create a link that will sit in my files. And so that if this is a super important folder that I'm always looking at from somebody else, I can have that accessible in my files. All right, so if I click access to add to my files, that will now appear over in my files, DCO induction, and there it is there. And you can notice now, if I just zoom in on this, you'll notice there is a little link that sits around that. Okay, so look, pretty straightforward. And for us to get to understand how our OneDrives work, remember, log in through Office 365, jump across and have a look at OneDrive and the space that you want to do it. Set up a folder, all right, upload your files. And remember, you can also drag folders into OneDrive on the web. The final thing I'll leave you with before I hand over to Jared is that if you want to constantly access your files, but you don't want to keep logging in and out, you can click this button called Sync. All right. By clicking the button Sync, it'll get our OneDrive client on the desktop open, and that means that you can have them downloaded to your desktop. And when you add files locally, say you're in the middle of the desert somewhere, and you add some files, when you come back into wireless frequency or Wi-Fi, right, it'll automatically sync and send all those files up, and you'll always have them available, and you won't lose them. Right. Such a
handy feature. So many times I've sat there making a resource ready for school, and I've done it on my home PC, but I've forgotten to upload it. And then I get to school, my resources sitting on my home computer. So it's a really good idea to sync that account in the background.
100%. And and there's nothing worse than having all your files left in a location, and you think, oh no, where have I put it? Has it actually sunk? Has it actually got to the location that it should? And this way, we always know it'll be either OneDrive or on a desktop. And if you've got OneDrive on other like devices, iPad or iPhone, you can always access it from there.
That's what I was going to say, Jeff. Don't forget the amazing OneDrive mobile app as well, where you can have things, accessed at any time that are in the cloud or whatever. You can have your OneDrive on the go, so you can do file sharing live whether you're on the train, you might be somewhere out and, you've got to quickly share a file with a colleague. You can go in and access it with the OneDrive mobile app. And then all those sharing functions and all that sort of stuff is there too. Now, I speak from personal experience. I've been on the train a few times and had to just quickly share a document with someone to collaborate on it, and it's really saved my skin. So definitely worth a look.
And can I say, welcome, Adam? You made it.
Happy to be here. It was a long journey through different firewalls and passwords and things to get here, but happy to be here.
We're glad you got here. Awesome. All right, Jared, I'm going to hand over to you.
All right.
No, sorry, good. Adam. Here's you, mate.
Adam. Yeah, now let's throw to Adam next. Adam, you take us through some of the... Yeah.
No worries. All right.
Get to work.
Yeah, I got to earn my money this afternoon, don't I?
Mate, tell us about Word. Tell us about some Word stuff.
I'm gonna take a look at Microsoft Word with you guys this afternoon, and we'll do this as quickly as possible. Word is packed full of features these days. They keep updating the thing constantly and adding more and more accessibility stuff to it. But we're going to do Word in a nutshell in about 7 minutes. So where you access this from is your Office 365 homepage. I mean, Jeff, you probably covered this already. I wasn't here, but I'm assuming you went through that process of how to get to the OneDrive and
the Office 365 desktop. So you're pretty much spot on.
Yep, absolutely. So here I am at my Office 365 homepage. All my apps here are on the left-hand side, and there's Word up the top. I can open up a new document with Word if I use this app here, but I'm going to open up something that I've been working on already, so you can see something that's sort of like half finished, and we can have a bit of a muck around with that. So this is a document here that I've been working on previously. All my previous stuff is right here. I'm going to open that up. And by the way, I'm just using the browser version of Word this afternoon. So this is great because it's, a device agnostic kind of approach to Microsoft Office. You don't necessarily need a Windows machine for this because it's in the browser. So that means you can do it on any device you like.
And that actually saved my bacon just then, Adam. I had a small fail that you guys probably don't know about, but my Microsoft Edge browser died on me. It wasn't working, and so I jumped across to Google. Google Chrome helped out, but don't let Google get ahead because of that. Carry on, mate.
Yeah, that's right. Don't let Google get ahead. Come on. We're, what's the, I can't remember the word now.
Bipartisan, we work across all.
Anyway, this is a Word doc here that I've been working on. I'm going to show you a couple of awesome features that you'll be able to use straight away, and I'm sure you'll see some mileage with. And the first one I want to show you is how you can collaborate on a document live and share a document with somebody else. So this is just my document here that I'm going to share with Jared Burke. Now, Jared has been here before, but I'm going to shoot him another link just in case, you know, he's lost the other one or he can't get back here or whatever. And I'm going to go up into the top right-hand side of the screen here where I've got this share button, and I'm going to go through there. So if I hit share,
in that conversation at the top.
Yep, it's going to come up with this box here. It's going to say, all right, do you want to generate a link? If I generate a link, it says here, anyone with a link can view the document. That means they can't edit it. So there's different levels of permission with this document that I can give to people, which is really powerful stuff. Because if I'm working with a sensitive document, I want people to view it. I don't want them to make changes. I don't want them to, you know, wreck it or you know, make copies or edits or whatever. Then I can just have that view. I can actually restrict this to people in the New South Wales Department of Education that have the link. So that way, you know, it's only people within the DOE can view the document, or specific people here. And if I hit specific people, it'll ask me, you know, to nominate people and type in their email address. But this here is how I can get a link, and then I can just get anyone to view. If I want people to make changes to that document, let's say Jared, Jeff, and I are going to collaborate live on this document, I hit allow editing, and it's going to, and then I can actually even set an expiration date for that as well, so that the link will expire at a certain point in time. But whoever has the link will be able to edit my document. You have to think carefully about that, obviously, and you've got to make sure that you know what you're doing here, because you'll be allowing people to collaborate on that document with you. You can go back and revert these permissions at any point in time as well, but it's just something you really got to consider. So I go, no worries.
You can kind of use that from an assignment point of view too, couldn't you? If you were sharing a document with students in your class, set an expiration so they can't work on it beyond the due date.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, there's plenty of ways that you would use this functionality, whether you're collaborating on a teaching learning program or some teaching resources with your colleagues or your stage team or your faculty, or if you're, like Jared says, if you're wanting to share something out with your students and you want them to have access to it for a limited period of time, you go through that way. And you can even set a password too, which is pretty cool. So I hit apply. And then if I hit copy the link, it will create that link right there. Now, Jared, you've previously got a link already. So what I'm going to get you to do is open up the document live and show the people in the audience what that looks like when somebody else logs in. So Jared's got this document already. If he opens that there, you can see up in the top right-hand corner, the JB has just appeared there. I can tell that now Jared is actually here right now live working on the document, and there it is. His edits are coming through while I'm talking. So that's one way that you can collaborate, and you can do this with as many people as you like. You can also add comments on the side here at any point in the document. You can see I've added some comments there so that we can, you know, keep up to date with stuff and have a bit of dialogue about this document too. So the commentary is pretty cool. We, you know, can insert images, and you can insert links and images and videos and embedded media into the document as well. And another thing we want to show you guys here this afternoon is a couple of recently added tools like the editor tool. So the editor tool, this is a really like interesting one. I think it's great. It gives you here a score. Ooh. 77% editor score for how great my document is put together here, and I can change the settings here if I want to check out whether this document is you know, formal writing or a casual sort of professional writing. I can change the settings, and I'll get a score based on how well the AI in the background rates my kind of writing and editing here. So if this was a casual document, like just a simple memo or something like that, yeah, it gets a 79 out of 100. If this document was a formal document, it only gets a 77, and then it gives you pointers as to what the go is and how you can improve. And you can see here that there's, you know, the acronyms, the clarity gets a tick, the formality gets a tick, but there's an issue here with conciseness. And if I click on that, it takes me down here to this part in my peel paragraph where it says, oh, more concise language would be clearer for your reader, and it gives you some suggestions here as to the changes that you may make. So, and then it bumps your score up, which is quite nice. So it gives you a whole bunch of stuff to play around with here and great ways to improve your documents, which from a teaching and learning point of view, like that's great for the classroom as well. If you're trying to have a focus on literacy and have a focus on professionalism in document writing, whatever. Me being a high school teacher, I know this is sort of something that I would use with my seniors if we're doing like stuff to get ready for work placement or resume writing or those types of formal texts. So that's a really useful tool that you can use. Another really interesting tool here that I want to show you is the dictate tool. Now, this is great because recently they've changed this around so that I can actually demonstrate this live using the microphone while I'm actually using the same microphone for this webinar. So it works live, which is really neat. So I'm going to open the dictate tool up here. It's going to operate this mic down in the bottom, and you can see right now while I'm speaking, and I'm speaking relatively fast, it's still keeping up with me and doing a pretty good job of dictating my speech down into this explain paragraph. So I can go ahead and use that tool for accessibility for a variety of different purposes. So that way it streamlines my workflow, makes things nice and quick for me.
So it's doing a pretty good job of picking up your very thick Richmond accent, mate. So
yes, that's right. We're a different breed out here in the Hawkesbury, out at sunny Richmond, down by the sunny river.
Yeah. We might have to jump over because we are running a bit shy on time.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, all right. So last but not least, here we've got this is something I wanted to show you. This is 30 seconds or less. The version control, very important. So I can go back to a previous version of the document. We'll load that up, and I can restore it. I wanted to show all the teachers that are participating this afternoon because it's probably the most important thing. If you've got some serious errors and you've got to go back to a previous version, you can do that with this as well. Word in the cloud, recommended. All right, so
absolutely.
Back to you guys.
Good job. All right, I think it's Jared. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'll jump on in.
Hey.
All right, you see my screen okay?
I'll send you up live.
Thank you.
There you go.
Let me just open up. What am I looking at here? All right, so we always come back to the portal page, and we're going to open up a sway. So a sway is like it's a different way of presenting some information. Everyone does a PowerPoint where you can just click through slides of information, but a sway just adds a nice little change to the way that you can present information. So it lets you present your information like it's a web page, so to speak, where you can just add lots of different content and all sorts of different ways. So I'm just going to go here and start a blank sway. Now there are a couple of ways you can start a sway. You can take an existing PowerPoint and turn that into a sway, and I'll show you that in a minute if we have time. But here's on my empty sway, and I'm going to give it a title. I'm just going to call this School Sport. And I can click here and add a background. So as soon as I click on pictures, and it's the same in Word and all the other ones, it lets you search through Creative Commons. So all these photos are fine to use because they've all been ticked for to be free and accessible to everybody. So I'm just going to grab this picture here, and I'm going to click on this picture and say add, and it's going to drop that into the background of the first part of my sway. Now I can add more content here by clicking at the bottom of the screen here. I get this little plus. And it's giving me some suggestions. I can add another heading. That's kind of what this School Sport one is. Some plain text and image, a stack. That's kind of cool. I can upload a document that I might have. These are just some suggestions, but all the features are here under text, media. We can add audio and embed stuff and some group things. So let's just start with some text. And I'm just going to put some random text in here, some random text. And I can edit those, emphasize, italicize, whatever. I'm going to click plus again. This time I'm going to bring in another image. So I'm going to go back over here, my School Sport images. Maybe I'll just want general sporting images. Again, that Creative Commons is ticked. I like this one here, and I'm just going to drag that over there. Now I can add some different things. I might change the focus point on my picture, and I want it to focus on this side of the image. So when it runs, it will automatically sort of focus on that side of the picture. Oops, I'm just keep pressing reset for some silly reason. Cool, so what does that look like once we've started putting it together? So at the top of the screen here, I can click on the play button, and it's going to show me what my sway looks like. At the moment, it's set to moving horizontally, not vertically. And that's just to do with, I hit play from the storyboard view. I'm going to go back into edit. And over here on the top of the screen, I've got a choice between storyline where I add all my content, and I can click here on design. This under design, if I click here on this styles button in this top corner, it'll allow me to change some of the way that the page views and sees and changes. So at the moment, I've got it set to horizontal. I can set it to vertical, where you would scroll up and down, or I can choose horizontal and you can move horizontally through your information, or I could do the good old slides if I wanted to, or I could click to advance. I'm going to put it back on vertical, and I've also got some of these other stylistic options here. If I let's say I really liked this green one and I hit remix, it's going to add that these styles to the back of it here. So at the moment I have got very few features to really see some of those color choices, but let me hit remix on this one. So it's black and white, the photo, and just added some stylistic changes to my presentation. I'm going to go jump back into the storyline and add some more features. So I've just got two pictures and a text and a heading. I'm going to hit plus. This time I'm going to hit stack. So a stack is like you can put like a picture slideshow in here, so to speak. So I click on the center to add some content, and let's make it some images. And here's a whole bunch of my sporting images. So I can just click and drag and just keep dropping images into my stack. And you'll notice there's this gray box around my stack to help you keep track of it all. So there is another feature I've added. So I'm going to go up and see. I always like to test it. So I'm going to hit play. What does that look like? It's just doing a little bit of loading here at the top.
I love the fact you hit play and you've just made a website. That's what.
Yeah, absolutely. You're exactly right. Instant website. If I scroll down here, and here is that stack, and every time I click on the stack, it sort of swipes. It might be a little bit jerky on this webinar, but on my computer and what you'd see in the classroom, lovely smooth transitions as the photos kind of flip to the back of the deck. You might not see that so well through the live event, but it's a cool little thing. Again, just a different way of presenting information that is very engaging to the students when they get to this point, because it's beyond being just that basic click through presentation. So lots of
really
features
great
you can
tool
add.
for digital portfolios as well, isn't it, Jared?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
being a secondary teacher, we're all about digital portfolios in TAS. So if you're looking to get away from the traditional PowerPoint or Google Slides or whatever, that's a really interesting, innovative tool to make your presentations look really cool.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to add a second heading here. One last feature I'm going to show you is that I've added a second heading, and notice the white gap here between the two sections to add another heading. So if I'm somewhere in my, let me just quickly throw a picture in here just so I can show it. When I hit play, it brings up my website, but down in this bottom corner, I've got almost like a menu or an index card. So when I click on this, I can divide my presentations up into subsections. So yeah, if you can almost like create a clickable resource, or it's like a little navigation pane for people to just jump to the section that you've highlighted here under heading 2. And I can just scroll up and see the rest of my presentation. So I guess that is, and you can share it out instantly, really quick here by that same sort of share options that we saw in the previous slides. So that's kind of a really quick. I apologize for the speed because I noticed we've just ticked over our very quick webinar this afternoon. But yeah, Sway's a really cool way for students to present their information in like a web page format, and it gives them a little bit more creativity in the way that it moves, in the backgrounds and the pictures and the placement on the page. And you don't have to make it that linear document.
Hey, Jared, do you reckon we should wrap up here? I've got the
absolutely. Actually, I have the.
You've got it there.
Got it right here. So just a couple of other resources if you wanted to find out more about the tools that we use today. Jump on these websites, the aka.ms, and some of the Microsoft accessibility links. Maybe we'll see whether, Jeff, you able to drop them in the chat at all?
Can do.
And if you're interested in, what is the date today? The 9th, but on the 23rd of February at 3:30 again, we are running another webinar. Is that the topic on, is that the date for?
23rd. Yeah, 2 weeks time. We were going to do some creative stuff. We've got webmasters down there, but we'll see if we can tweak that.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep an eye out, but we are running these every 2 to 3 weeks with another little tidbit all about Microsoft. So today is a teacher identified PL. So they're the standards, 3.4.2 and 2.6.2 if you want to jump on. Unfortunately, at the moment, all hours are teacher identified while NESA makes some changes to the accreditation system. So go on and get a teacher identified hour. You'll find the recording on the T4L webpage, but you'll also find if you click the link that you used to get into this webinar today, you can re-watch this if you so desire. Move forward at your own pace, as mentioned there. You can move through back in your own time. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to one of us, and we hope to help you with your journey in using Microsoft tools. We think they're great.
Absolutely.
Anything you'd like to add, boys?
Oh, look, let's just say thanks for coming along, guys, and hopefully, and I'll just try and get our faces up there. Hopefully, you've learned a lot from today. I do apologise for the little slow start, but we got up and running, and looking forward to seeing you guys in a couple of weeks. Adam, do you have anything else you want to add just on that final note?
Oh, look, no, not really. Everybody should be probably logging off now, going home and having a cup of tea, put your feet up and enjoy your afternoon. I think that's about it from me.
All right.
Awesome.
Jared, I think we should wrap this
Cool.
up.
We'll pull the pin there. Thanks for joining us today, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
Great stuff, guys.